Iraq on the brink. Is our economy on the line? The chaos over there already hitting oil prices and lots of stocks here. Just how bad could it get? Hi, everyone. I'm Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. And here they are, the Bulls and Bears this week. Gary B. Smith, Tracy Burns, Jonas Max Ferris, and John Layfield. Okay, Gary B., you think the chaos escalating in Iraq could rock us in the U.S.?
I do. I think there's two facets. One is the oil prices, which is kind of in the headlines right now. I think that's like a tax on companies. If oil prices go up, it's not only a tax on companies, it's a tax on consumer. So we know that's going to be a negative effect. We've already seen it, the price of the oil stocks rise. And as the oil stocks rise, in this case, I think it hurts the economy. The second part is the effect on the stock market, which I think could actually be bigger. I think the economy can kind of steer through this. I mean, unless this breaks out into a total world war kind of thing, which I don't think it's going to. But the effect on the market right now has had a pretty good run since about September of last year. I think it's a little frothy right now, and it's looking for any kind of match to set off the tinder. If this kind of breaks out and we have to send troops, even though I think President Obama said we weren't, but even if we send in drones, artillery, munitions, that kind of thing, I think it really spooked the market. I think we could see a pretty good sell-off.
On what order? About how much?
Well, I tell you what. If it really escalates and we get involved, Russia gets involved, that kind of thing, I think we could see a 20% drop in the market.
So a bear market. Well, Jonas,
yeah.
Short term, this may be very tough for the market and the economy, but long term, what do you see?
I don't think it's going to be a long-term situation because, I'm sure, look, when Vietnam fell apart, we lost that. It probably looked really bad at that point as well. But at the end of the day, long haul, and it went bad. The communists won, right? But they became a market economy eventually and became a productive member of the global economy. And that's one scenario that hopefully will happen over many decades in this area. On the other hand, to lead to the World War kind of scenario, I just don't think a crazy ideology without an underlying strong economy is a world threat. You can say there's terrorists and all that, but what made Hitler so dangerous is they had a strong economy to finance and build up for world domination. These countries are in rough shape. Their economies, they can't build the militaries that would attack the world. So I just don't think that is a scenario we need to worry about and spend money fighting against. I'm not saying we shouldn't fight terrorism, but to talk about it sprawling out and really taking out the world economy, I think it's a stretch that will never happen.
John, what do you think? This is pretty brutal out there right now. This is really escalating. What do you think it could do to our economy?
I think it could hurt. I think everybody's right. Short term, this can be absorbed. It matters what happens, how this escalates. I've been going to Iraq since 2003, and ever since I've been going there to last time I went a few years ago, I think most people thought this would be a probable outcome, that you would end up in some type of civil war between the Kurds in the north, the Sunnis in the middle, who were taken care of by Saddam Hussein and forgotten by the Shia government that was down in the south. Now, you add in that the Iranian troops are now helping Baghdad. The Kurds are building a pipeline into Turkey, so they're basically autonomous right now. And the bad guys in the middle, you have 3.3 million barrels a day of oil. That can be absorbed short term by Saudi's 2 million extra barrels of oil capacity a day. Long term, it depends on how this escalates.
But Iraq is OPEC's second biggest producer of oil. And Tracy, Gary B. made a good point. He said if oil prices spike, gas prices go up. Right now, wages aren't going up, and our economy is not that good. What does that mean?
Right. That's, I think, the biggest problem here, because I was really surprised that the market finished slightly up about 40 points on Friday. Going into Friday, I thought people were going to be a little more scared and sell off with the unknown of what's going to happen over the weekend. So it's a little bit more resilient, I think, than we're giving it credit for. But the biggest story, Brenda, you're right, is oil prices. If gas goes up just a little bit, and even if it's 10 cents a gallon, if your hourly wages are not increasing, that cuts into your disposable income, that cuts into your discretionary spending, that cuts into everything. And this market, this economy is slowly starting to get better, and that could be really what we're looking for to just bring it to a screeching halt.
Gary B., Tracy did mention that the markets were up slightly on Friday, but they were down for the week. And this, as you say, they've been pretty frothy. This is the kind of thing that could spook them.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I don't think anything major is going to happen. Jonas was talking about World War II and Hitler. I don't think we're in that scenario, but we don't need to be in that scenario. Look, as I said, we've had a good run. I think the market's really been in a sweet spot. The Fed has kind of been on the sidelines. Earnings were okay. There's really been nothing out there. I mean, look at the volatility index. It's been like at all-time lows. There's no volatility out there. So really any little thing, even though it sounds like a little thing, could really spook the market and give people an incentive to say, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen, as Tracy said, so I'm just going to sell and take my great profits on all these stocks that have run up. That's my fear.
Well, Tracy, it goes beyond that, doesn't it? It's not just selling stocks. This hits consumer confidence. This hits retail sales. It hits a whole number of things, this kind of uncertainty.
It kind of sets you back, right? And it goes back to what we've talked about here so much, is that it's failed administration policy yet again. I mean, whatever your thoughts on going into Iraq in the first place, there's a pretty large consensus that we shouldn't have left when we did. So here we go again, failed administrative policies, and it just gives you back that, like, not again. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to be a part of this market. And to Gary's point, there's no volatility. No one's doing anything. It's either indifference or uncertainty. I don't know what you want to call it. But everyone is just watching this, I think, from the sidelines.
And, you know, the truth is, if you don't think you're in the market at home, if you're not buying stocks, the truth is, in your 401k, in your retirement plan, there are stocks, and this could have an impact on it. Jonas, what's your take on this?
Yeah, and particularly foreign stocks, because I think in the shorter run, to get to that, I think I'm more worried about Russia than anything else, because, you know, their oil becomes more valuable when Iraq's off the stage, and all of a sudden, with our problems we're having with that country taking over other countries, becomes something we can't deal with because we screwed up in Iraq, and we have to deal with that, with to send troops maybe over there and do missions. So we give Putin more expansive control, both in the markets with his energy and with his military, and that's a little more troubling both to emerging market stocks, which you probably own if you own foreign stock, even regular foreign stock funds are in Russia or in countries like that. But that's more the danger, I think, for us in the near term.
You know, John, you mentioned that you have been going to Iraq for many years. You gave great morale to the troops every year, and you know it very well. This is ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, and in fairness, they gave me great morale to go over there and be with those heroes. Yeah, it is bad. Look at this. Not failed policy Tracy talks about. Look at Libya. They're still down 1.3 million barrels of oil a day before you took out Gaddafi. Egypt, the same thing. It is an absolute mess. And when you talk about things like Russia, look, Saudi Arabia can take this spare capacity right now of oil. You're going to see if it contains to Iraq, you're going to see oil prices trend higher. The market will probably tread water, maybe go a little bit lower. But if you have a systemic shock, there is no shock absorber anymore. There is no extra capacity in the system anymore because it's being taken up right now because of the Iraq problem. Any other systemic shock, we didn't see this coming either. That spells bad problems.
Okay, Gary B., last word, 20 seconds.
Well, there is a silver lining, Brenda. If we do sell off and the market really drops, I think it's going to be more emotional than anything else, and I would use that opportunity to buy.
Okay. Good way to end. All right.